Hi, honey. How was your tea?
Oh, pretty average, you know. There was music, little sandwiches, tea, of course. Oh, and I got my quizmaster fired.
What kind of sandwiches?
What happened?
Well, nothing. I inadvertently said terrible things about him to a complete stranger who turned out to be his boss. It's really kind of funny when you think about it.
I don't get it.
Ladies, gentlemen, Steve Allen, welcome to episode number 46 of Sabrina's Witch Trials. This is, of course, the show where each episode we venture back into the mid-1990s to rewatch, review, and reminisce all about everyone's favorite Friday night spellfest, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I'm Alex Aduju, and folks, we're all stuck at home, but the good thing is that enables certain treats for the listeners of the Witch Trials. Yes, I'm calling this a treat. This is something we haven't done in, 42 episodes. 41 episodes, I don't know how to count. Maybe 42. 42 episodes. Leave it all in now. 42 episodes. A very special episode of the Witch Trials is coming up for you, because not only are we talking about episode 46 quiz show, and we will get into the great name that is, we also have not one, but deuce guests on this episode. They're both turds. Not only is that media maven from Chris Conker's back, Chris Aduju's here. Chris, how you doing?
I'm okay. Isolated.
Man, can you tell she's been in the house for a month?
Yeah, over a month now.
Because she has lost the will to watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
All I want to do is eat carbs.
Fair. At the same time, we have another guest, socially distanced all the way to Ohio. Phil Aduju is back, that noted child of the 80s. Phil, how are you doing?
I guess that makes me number 2, huh?
In everyone's hearts. Wait, I'm supposed to say you're number 1 in everyone's. Just in terms of people liking you on the show.
I guess that makes me the number 2 here, I guess. All
I
right.
mean, I guess technically you're number 3.
No.
Because is Al putting himself first?
No, I'm not that arrogant.
No.
Oh, okay. Sure you're not.
Sorry, I'm not that kind of arrogant.
I'm not that kind of arrogant to say that on the podcast.
Yeah. After the recording, it's like, you guys are under my fucking boot. I am the king. I'm doing great. Clearly, I'm the king. Every day that the family is not very sick is a good day. So hopefully all the listeners are doing well and staying safe. And we can get past this quickly and healthily. Look up in your dictionaries. But all things are good. Phil, you're holding out there in Ohio?
I'm stuck here in my compound in the basement.
Sure.
Doing my thing. But so I haven't been on in a while. I've been kind of doing other things with my job. So I've been kind of traveling and working. But since this whole thing kind of came out, I've been working from home. So I've been sitting here for the last month at home.
Yeah, we've really taken advantage of the fact that jobs are a thing that are not as much of a thing anymore in day-to-day life. Although you and Chris are both still technically working, you're telecommuting.
Yeah.
And I am doing this. So we're all doing great. And we're here. We've gathered. It's truly a special time in our family when we get to talk about an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. We were talking about the episode that we did last time, way back, episode 4. I believe it was called Terrible Things, because that was the episode where they kept going, Terrible Things. Yeah, Mr. Poole finds out how to make gold or something. Not a great episode, but a great time was had by one of us, because you guys were dog tired when I made you record
we were dying.
that. But luckily, we've started at a slightly earlier time than that one. So we'll see if we can keep you guys awake and focused on this great episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, episode 46, Quiz Show. And of course, you both know that I ask my guests to describe the episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch in a set number of words. And here's
But
the
there's
thing.
two of us.
That's true. But since I know you always forget, and I know Phil is always prepared, I'm going to have you go first so you can't crib Phil's
It's
description.
I never prepare it because it would be pointless because you always pick a random number, usually 8 or 9.
Yeah. Oh, damning indictment of Al's number picking.
But so it's not worth it to
True.
come prepared. And also, I just sit here and think of one. So who cares?
That's true. Chris, I will have you know that I'm going to spice it up for you this time. I'm going to ask you to describe this episode of Sabrina Teenage Witch in 7 words.
Okay.
Ooh.
Are we hyphenating Quizmaster? Is that one word?
That'll be one word.
Like
That's fine.
Beast-
Quizmaster is
Beastmaster?
one word.
Okay. Sabrina loses Quizmaster. Zelda becomes Sabrina's substitute.
Those are...
7.
That is true. That is a accurate description.
Yeah.
She loses Quizmaster. Where did he go? Oh no! Did he go
She
into
loses him.
the hole?
He is no longer in her life
Fair enough.
as her
now,
Quizmaster.
Now, Phil,
Yes.
I will ask you to describe this episode in a very Chris-approved 9 words.
There you go.
Well, see, Chris always says, about, how you switch it up. And see, you just have to be prepared. You just have to go from like 6 to 12 and just write them all
This
out.
is what
like
Phil does.
That's just ridiculously
This is why he
depressing.
has-
I'm sorry that you spend your time in this manner.
This is why he has
Hey,
4
I-
pages of notes.
That's why I have 4 pages of notes. I'm prepared for everything.
You could spend your time looking at hair masks on Sephora like I do.
There'll be plenty of time for hair masks after the recording. Thank
Will
you.
there be?
I'm good. I'm good without the hair mask. Thanks. So
Sure you are.
Oh, come on.
Cool. Let's keep the insults until the last 20 minutes. That's when I've reserved it
That's
for.
what you say now.
Phil, take it away.
Yes, sir. All right. Libby is better at understanding chemistry than Sabrina is.
I'm sorry. Mine wins because I gave an accurate and full description of both storylines.
Here's what I will say.
Thank you.
Here's what I will say. Chris does capture the episode better. Phil's is a more coherent sentence.
Okay, first of all, there is a period. I can't say period. You can't see it, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And he, as they note in this episode, is both named Quizmaster and a Quizmaster. Technically, his name's not Quizmaster, but that is
Yeah,
what
well,
he is
we'll
referred
get
to
into
as.
that, his great name.
As if it is his name. So technically, Sabrina
How is
loses
this even a
Quizmaster is
competition?
right.
I don't know. Chris just likes to compete
Chris
about
murdered
everything.
it.
Anyway,
Whatever.
2 great descriptions.
You planned that sentence?
Yes.
You came with that prepared?
All right. Look, guys. This isn't my like shady attempt to make me each of yours favorite sibling by making you 2 hate each other.
Oh, I love Fillmore. Sorry.
Fair enough.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm sorry that mine is not as all-encompassing as
This
yours,
is gonna
Chris.
this is all gonna get cut. But
Good, you should be.
no, good. All right. Wow. Phil, you want to take a shot at Chris right now?
No, I'm going to be the bigger person. Just take
Good.
the high road.
Good. Also, I
You
will
are
let
the
you know
bigger
that I just
person.
got your text reading Chris smells.
Oh, wow.
You're 6'2".
Wow,
Man.
here she goes. Okay.
Wow. I will remind you, we haven't even started the description of
I
the
know,
episode
Chris
yet.
is burning through.
Both accurate descriptions. First aired the 17th of April, 1998, and written by Holly Hester, which is a great fake name, I assume, because that's a terrible real name. We'll find out. The number 1 song when this episode aired. Any guesses? April 98, Chris? Phil? Nobody?
April 98.
Yes.
I'm going to guess, good question. It's got to be something from probably something from the Backstreet Boys, I'd guess.
No, this might be just pre-Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
All My Life by Casey and JoJo.
Oh, great song.
Here it is now.
No, I know the song.
I don't.
Yeah, you do.
Probably, but I will
You
know
want
it.
me to start singing it?
Oh,
No, it's okay.
we could do it together.
No.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, my life, I pray for someone
Oh,
like
yes,
you.
very true. Very, okay.
And I thank God that That I
That I
finally
finally found you.
I'm not going to sync your audio, so Phil's
No,
going to be like
good.
3 seconds off.
Please don't include this.
Okay.
Include it all.
No, this will be a special bonus track for the Patreon. I'm definitely starting. All right, here we go.
You should.
The main, usually
One person.
yeah,
The
me
3 views that we'll get.
paying myself and losing money from
This is
Patreon.
just the
taking the top
episode
off.
where Chris is at peak shadiness.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
The main story, because I usually like to separate into A and B story, but it's really just all A story this episode.
Pretty much is.
No.
The Zelda bit falls into the Sabrina bit.
It does. They mesh, but they're technically 2 different stories.
No, it's
Her school life and her Quizmaster life.
All right, Chris is going to be.
I mean, I'm not gonna tell
Chris
you
is
how
the
to do
bad
your
boy of this
show.
episode. Clearly,
She's good. You're going to say the sky's blue. She's going to tell you, no, it's not. And she's going to
I
describe
was
it in 10 different ways.
wishing that I was as exhausted as I was last time.
fuck. She's had a cup of coffee. She's raring to go.
Oh, God.
The main story of this episode centers around Sabrina trying to pass her elements test, a test which she starts by struggling to prepare for as we first see her trying to turn herself into water on her bed, and failing, only to have Quizmaster and Salem ridicule her. She then eventually does succeed to go full Alex Mack, but Quizmaster just gives her some shade about not being able to do it sooner, and Salem lets them know that they probably should have invested in some PP sheets.
Am I the only one thinking we should have purchased some rubber sheets?
Elsewhere in the house, Zelda gets some good news that she's going to be subbing as Sabrina's chemistry teacher in Westbridge, though Hilda's concerned that her teaching past isn't super stellar.
Didn't you want to storm out in the middle of a class and never come back?
Yes, but that was only because they kept asking questions. And anyway, that was a long time ago.
Gosh, I wonder what happened to them.
Do you think Professor Spellman forgot about us? Let's give it another 5 minutes.
After we get to see a bunch of skeletons, Sabrina has some more problems with her testing. It's shown that her test issues are really studying related, as she's seen just wasting time with Salem answering stupid questions. Like, it seems like they're just both high and just going like, oh, if you had 6 feet, how fast could you run?
Do you think sea monkeys make good pets?
I feel like low maintenance.
How long would it take to hop across the world on your tongue?
Oh, I don't know, about 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah, this is a much better use of your time than studying for your elements test.
Anyway, Quizmaster pops in and ridicules her or derides her for not studying, but does hand her an invitation to a very special event in all of our lives, the Quizmaster and pupil social that apparently happens every year, and bit of bad not sportsmanship, but just discourteous of Quizmaster to give her an invitation the day of the event. But he does give her a bit of good news about the new chicken shack that opened up by his house.
Every once in a while, you could try bringing good news.
A new Pollo Loco just opened up by my apartment.
I meant good news for me.
We're then at Westbridge, where Sabrina isn't exactly happy to have Zelda there, but Zelda's feeling confident that she's going to nail this whole teaching thing. She then begins her lesson on the redox reaction and, shockingly, does not nail this whole teaching thing.
You have a question?
Bell rang 10 minutes ago. Can we go now?
We later see Quizmaster and Sabrina arriving at this gala, where the two are bickering already. Quizmaster doing the classic, look at how better all of these other Quizmaster pupils are.
I can't believe you don't know how to turn yourself into fire and win yet. The test is in 3 days, and if you don't pass it, you won't get your witch's life.
You've mentioned that to me, 5,000 times? I could turn myself into water.
Anybody can do that. You see that waiter there? And those aren't cocktails. That's a tray full of students.
Oh, I don't even want to know what the crab cakes were.
Thank goodness the head quiz master doesn't know you don't know your elements. I'd be dead meat.
And Sabrina getting irritated and running off to the bathroom to get away from him. She soon meets a stranger with curly hair and a very short green dress, and takes her into her confidence, explaining all the reasons why her quizmaster is irritating her. The stranger is shocked and supportive, saying that quizmasters' jobs are to be educators and they should be helping to make learning fun.
Having trouble on your elements test? Yeah, I can't concentrate. I mean, my quizmaster keeps lecturing me. Really? They're supposed to make it fun, not hard. Which one is he? The one dressed like a rodeo clown that keeps shoving tea cakes in his mouth?
When Sabrina returns to the quizmaster, they are greeted by the head quizmaster, who, stunningly, is this very young woman with curly hair in a green dress. Sabrina begins to worry about what she has said and starts to do all the classic, hey, we better get out of here, looks like a fire could break out bits. But the head quizmaster comes over quickly and reprimands. I'm trying not to name Quizmaster's name until the big reveal later. But saying Quizmaster talks to Quizmaster is kind of...
Head Quizmaster.
Sure.
Boss Quizmaster lady.
HQMIC. Head Quizmaster in charge.
Yeah, that's better.
Thank you. She reprimands non-HQMIC for all of Sabrina's complaints.
He has a number. What was the number?
72409, something like that?
72469.
69. Ooh, 69. Hello.
Hello.
Phil's notes strike again. Anyway, so she tells Quizmaster how Sabrina's feeling. Sabrina plays dumb, and then head Quizmaster tells Quizmaster that he will no longer be Sabrina's Quizmaster. Yes, I do get 17 cents every time I say the phrase Quizmaster. Sabrina just then bemoans the fact that nobody in this goddamn realm ages normally.
Quizmaster 72469, are you aware that Sabrina is very unhappy with your teaching?
Well, she's in high school. She's unhappy with everything. What's going on?
I don't know. Sounds like someone ate the tapioca pudding way past the expiration date. Effective immediately. You are terminated as Sabrina's Quizmaster.
What?
That will be all.
Okay, so first bit here. We get to see Sabrina's study life and her failings as a student. The first thing that I noticed was Sabrina is sitting like cross-legged, or what do they call it? Pretzel-legged. What's the modern term?
Crisscross applesauce.
There we go. That is what she's doing on her bed, but she has full shoes on, which honestly is gross.
No respect. She did not grow up in a Portuguese household.
Oh. What the fuck are you doing? Get that hat off the bed too. Hat's on a better bad thing, apparently.
Yeah.
Just gross.
I mean, someone's gonna die, no?
Speaking of her not clearly growing up in a Portuguese household, Quizmaster this whole episode is the most like immigrant parent to her. It's just like, oh, look at all these other kids. How have you not learned this thing already?
Yep.
You dumb idiot.
Yeah, Quizmaster is definitely the tiger mom.
Oh my god. He's a first generation American parent, if ever I've seen one. It's just like, why aren't you a doctor yet? Try harder.
A lot of pressure on you to be a doctor, is there, Al?
Yeah. And I failed. Phil, what did you have in this segment here?
Well, in the beginning, I was what I kind of looked at was the whole situation with the two of them and Salem, and just kind of like how Salem is now just like more of the happy-go-lucky Salem, instead of just, he's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, he doesn't care. Like you said before, like, he's like, you're looking at them talk to each other and like, you're like, what kind of like hashish have you guys gotten into?
Yep. Also, he's now well and truly the Don Rickles of the house, where he's just like, oh boy, this sounds like some bullshit. Hey, Sabrina, nice pants. Where'd you get them? Fucking dollar store? Fuck off. These are all real lines
that's what he said.
Salem.
I did find it hilarious, though, that the Quizmaster was super excited that a Pollo Loco had opened up next door to him. Which, if you've ever been to California and eaten a Pollo Loco, you'd see why he's so surprised.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
That is a real restaurant. Yeah, you can look it up.
I figured they had just like made up a chicken shack name.
No, it's really good. When I was out there for work, I went to a Pollo Loco. It's pretty good.
See, I that makes me kind of sad that they didn't use Kenny Rogers Roasters instead.
Oh, but that's a Seinfeld gig.
That's a real thing too.
It is. They're still in existence in like the Philippines.
It's so weird. Fucking Kenny Rogers isn't in existence in the Philippines anymore.
Oh, come on.
That's messed up.
Look, it was a timely
okay.
joke. Timely.
Not okay.
That's how I say that word.
Timely.
It's a timely joke.
Chris, did you note anything from this scene?
I agree. I think Salem literally is just every other one-liner.
Yeah, it's good. It's good in this episode, but sometimes it's like you want him to be more of a character.
Turning yourself into fire, water, and wind is one of the hardest things a witch has to learn.
For me, it was learning when to say no to pie.
But it's a lot though, and it's obviously like they're forming him into that kind of a character. But like when it doesn't really add anything to the context, it's just consistently like
too much. Especially later when Hilda is trying to like teach Sabrina, it's just like every 3 seconds it's like, oh hey Hilda, would you fart?
They're not
hey,
even
Hilda,
that funny though.
Nice shirt. Oh hey Hilda, gooses or something.
Cabbage. Eat some cabbage.
Cabbage was funny though. Phil, you were saying.
Also, I know that we have a new format on the show, but
yes.
To go back to the old school format.
Oh, heaven! I apologize, Phil.
Come on, Al.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep. It's too many plates in the air. I have obviously neglected to bring up that it is, of course, time again to venture into everyone's favorite part of the house. It's Phil's costume corner.
The opening.
Phil, what do you have for us this week?
All right, so do we remember what Sabrina came out, what kind of costume she came out in?
I do. Chris, do you?
This morning? In the morning. This morning. What did she wear this morning? No, I totally overlooked it.
She was wearing...
I wasn't paying attention.
A very well-made peanut costume, which is just like a big, giant styrofoam peanut. And some like yellow leggings.
It almost looked like they stole it off like a Mr. Peanut, like,
yeah.
Like an actual Mr. Peanut.
Was there a monocle?
No, we had to take the monocle and the hat off so the police didn't catch him.
Yeah, that way they can't. They don't have to pay royalties then. But do we remember what she said? What her catchphrase was?
I listened to it and then I'm like, I should remember this, and then I forgot it. But like, I feel like 95% confident that saying like it's like I've got a nutty disposition or something like that.
Ooh, no, you were close. But that's me in a nutshell, is what she said.
It's accurate.
That's good too. Because she's literally in the nutshell.
Yeah.
Because she's literally in the nutshell.
Melissa Joan Hart, one step ahead of us at all times.
Yeah, she wrote that.
If you're seeing, they're starting to get better than they used to be, because they used to be like really, really bad.
They were pretty bad.
That's good because everything else is getting worse.
Except Salem jokes.
Salem is turning into like that, that pissed off old uncle who just like is like, bah.
I will say his puppet's getting hella cute though.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's not as good as like latter half of the series where it's just like an adorable little like stuffed animal, but
He's
like this actually is
this
believable.
Is peak Salem.
But I think
peak Salem puppet.
I think this is the second Salem puppet. It might be the third, but I think the third one is the best one.
I don't know. This one's pretty good.
So in terms of stories that are going on here, we did also touch on Zelda being Sabrina's substitute. I do love when they go to the classroom of like Zelda's previous teaching job, and there's just like 12 skeletons and a very old woman and a very old man, and they're like, should we wait for Zelda? And then he's like, let's give it 5 minutes. It's like, guys, once the third guy died, why didn't you like check and see if everyone else's health was okay? You just not only did you
They're magical pupils, no?
I guess.
Why the fuck are they so old?
I mean, here's the other thing. Like, well, because she's...
I was didn't consider that.
It was a really long time, Chris.
I mean, it's probably been thousands of years since she taught. But if you think about it, like, okay, well, we were all in high school, and, you guys probably weren't as troublemaker as I was, but the second the teacher was gone for like 20 minutes, you're like, oh, F this, we're out of here.
Oh, yeah.
You just got up and left. You're done.
How was your
with it.
teacher leaving for 20 minutes at a time?
They did.
That seems
it was Flushing High School, Chris. It was probably to break up like a murder.
It probably was. It was like, not back then. It wasn't that bad, but it was probably to break up a fight of some sort.
Probable homicide.
And like once that was going on, you just, okay, see you later. Just leave. I mean, are you really going to wait there years and years? Come on. I
will say that I was not as much a bad boy as Phil or Chris on this podcast.
Bad boy.
But
I'll flip this table over right now. I don't care. I'll do it.
I didn't put a table in front of you because you just flip it over.
Do this one.
I'll flip whatever the fuck you want. You got a pancake?
Flip
I'll make
all
it right
the tables.
now.
Flip the world.
Nice.
Because it's flat.
Well, revealing a bit too much of Chris's
I promise
opinions
I'm not a
there.
flat earther.
Anyway, I will say that my senior year, like I only had like 5 classes because like that's how schools work in New York, where it's like if you take full semesters for the first 3 years, by like your last year, it's like you only need so many classes, so it's like a half
Chris.
day. Oh, you
Chris
got
is like,
fucked.
give me all the extra APs. I think I took 4 APs my last year.
You're the nerd. Anyway,
You could tell.
I didn't have to take gym though for last 2 years because I was on the soccer
Hey.
team.
Oh,
I think
Yeah.
I think
kudos to you.
a
Thank you.
different side story, but this
still
episode's
got
gonna be 4
credit.
hours long. They decided to give me health class in like they just scheduled you whenever, but I ended up with it in like senior year, and they're like, all right,
I got a senior year too.
here's how sex works, and I'm like, guy, it's fucking, we're all seniors in
Yeah.
high school. Give us some credit.
Half of these people are pregnant.
I know, fucking Nancy over there has got 6 months on that stomach of hers. You couldn't have sped this up a little?
Half of these people are pregnant. What are you talking about? We need it.
But anyway, my last semester, my last year of school, like I only had 5 classes, so I was out at like noon. But my last class was like wood shop, and I think my class ended at like 12:09. But the bus to come home, like because we took city buses, the bus would stop at the bus stop at like 12:04 or like 12:20 something. So I would always just like slowly like fade, like I would just like sneak out like 10 minutes and just like leave 10 minutes early every day. And like my teacher, I would just like wait until my teacher's back was turned and just like leave the class 10 minutes early.
Wow.
And I got
Rebel.
an A. I got like a 90 something in the class.
And she never said anything to you, or they never said anything to you?
He did once, but he was like, whatever, you're fine. And that's my story of being a bad boy.
Hey.
Gym was
Certified bad
Gym
boy.
was last period too,
Yeah.
and I didn't have to take it.
Al telling his story, I'm literally like thinking of like West Side Story, like Al just like snapping his way down the hallway out to the bus.
There was a lot of dancing involved, yes. So anyway,
With his little chassé.
Chris, I want your opinion on this because it seemed weird to me that Sabrina would immediately take just some girl into her confidence.
No.
Is this something
It's
girls
what
do in
happens
the
in the
bathrooms?
ladies' room.
Huh?
It's what happens in the ladies' room.
You literally just go in there and like, oh, gather around, bitches. I got something to vent.
I mean, yeah, not some people. It's not everyone's personality is the same, but I think like if you're at like a weird social event like that and you see a girl who like looks like around
Has
your
great
age,
curls.
like yeah, you just start chatting sometimes, especially if alcohol's involved.
Which there definitely was for this 16-year-old.
Oh, without a doubt. It's a magical event.
Yeah, but she's still 16.
So
Even if they're drinking absinthe or
they're
whatever.
not
it's still
IDing her at the Quizmaster
certainly not.
ball
Certainly not her
Social.
witch's license because she doesn't have it yet.
get together.
Well done. Did you also notice how short the dresses were on both of these
Sabrina's
girls?
was way worse. Like
was-
Sabrina's was like coochie level.
They were both bad. Like you
but
see.
hers, when you see them standing next to each other,
Yeah.
the other girl's is way longer than
I don't
Sabrina's.
think so.
Like it's still short, it's still a mini dress.
Yeah.
But Sabrina's is like legit, like she can't bend.
It's funny. You see Melissa Joan Hart tugging on like the bottom of this thing the whole time.
It's bad. I thought it looked cute on her though.
I actually like the other girl's dress better, like the green one. I think it was a nicer dress.
Do you recognize her?
I feel like she
was on. I feel like she was on Seventh Heaven.
This is one of those things she might have been. This is one of those things where like very much like I always thought that what's his face was playing the guy from the Violent Femmes.
Yeah.
I always assumed that this was the woman who played Lunette on Big Comfy Couch. I think just because they both had very curly hair.
No, I think you're right. Literally, just because like it, I feel like you got it. Like I feel like that's who it is.
First time for everything. Let's find out right now. Old man, witch judge, mouse, principal craft.
Dolly.
See full cast.
Ashley Levitch is her name, or Levitch.
Yes, Amy. Apparently her name was Amy.
She's a Libra.
I do not
from
think she was on
Missouri.
Big Comfy Couch though, Chris. No, she was not, sadly.
She was on
an episode of Sybil.
She was on Hocus Pocus.
She was. And she was on Felicity.
Oh, she was the sister from Hocus Pocus?
Is that what you know her from? She was on the show The Simple Life.
Ooh.
And she was on Seventh Heaven,
She's
Chris.
All That.
You know who she is on Seventh Heaven, actually? I remember it now. She's the girl who Matt befriends on, like, episode 3, who is pregnant.
Yeah.
That's who she is.
You know, this just isn't where I saw my life going. I mean, I always thought I'd be a singer, a music teacher, an astronaut. Anything but an unwed mother. Well, you know, maybe I can be the first singing unwed mother astronaut.
Showing clearly that she had already had
She's
the baby
on the
by this
West
point.
Wing and Felicity.
Phil, do you have anything else for this scene? Because I just have one more note.
No, go ahead.
All right. To me, the thing that stuck out most or just was very funny, and it kind of felt like this is the Quizmaster I wanted to see more of, was when right before the head Quizmaster comes over to talk to them, Quizmaster sees that Sabrina's all nervous, and he says, "Sabrina, are you okay? You look whiter than usual."
You okay, Sabrina? You're whiter than usual.
Because she's white.
Yes. I liked that. I liked that as a line for him, but it struck me that, like, Sabrina is a blonde girl living in Massachusetts who knows Britney Spears personally and whose mom is an archaeologist. She's as white as you can get. Like, there is no shade of whiter on, like, the Bear
Also,
paint chart.
she's like super pale.
Also, she's very pale. Like, she's not getting whiter. That would be like lucite. That's the only thing whiter than Sabrina.
Technically, lucite is not white.
Oh my god, here we go.
It is transparent.
Chris has gone from bad boy to nerd in one foul swoop.
Are they not the same thing?
Even Valerie is more like pigmented.
Because she's got darker hair.
That's true.
You always see more tan when you have darker hair. People always think I'm like darker than I am.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly like, no, I'm white as hell.
Yeah. Baby, how you feel feeling white as hell?
No.
Fuck you. And fuck you, that was good. Give it what it deserves. All right. Anyway,
Phil was speaking.
Huh?
Phil was speaking and he stopped speaking because I was speaking. So
Okay.
please give Phil the time to
Certainly.
continue to speak.
Phil, I will give you equal time.
Thank you. I think the only way she could be whiter is if her mother was Martha Stewart. Then she could be the whitest person ever.
The woman who plays
I
her
don't
mom
know.
is not like too far away
Martha
from Martha
Stewart
Stewart.
hangs with Snoop Dogg.
That's true, though.
Not in
Sabrina
1990
does too, though.
Martha Stewart's been to jail.
Sabrina hangs with Snoop Dogg when she zaps him out of. Oh, that was Coolio.
That's Coolio, you dirty racist.
Yeah, I know. Snoop Dogg's
Wow.
way better than Coolio. I
I know.
so
I'm
long
joking.
ago.
I
dude.
know. Calm down.
I'll remove this from the audio so that it can't be held against you when you run for Senate.
It's like it never existed.
That's right.
Dick.
This whole episode would be thrown into the trash if the whole series, if any of us ever run for anything.
Like they'll find this garbage.
How dare you, Phil? That will be cut. It's not garbage. Anyway, at home, Zelda thanks Salem for letting her work through a lesson plan with him, though he's subtly pulled a little bit of a prank behind her back. He put a note on her back. As Sabrina returns, she recounts her problems to Zelda and everything that just happened, who feels bad for her and tells her that if she does want to make a change in terms of Quizmasters, the Witches' Council has domain over the Quizmasters and she should talk to them. Sadly, no, there's no Drell. She goes to the Witches' Council and explains how she got Quizmaster fired, and very poignantly so, but is immediately turned down by the judge, as the judge explains that she explained, man, I'm using the word explained a lot, how Quizmaster got fired, but she didn't highlight why she needs the Quizmaster back.
It's totally my fault. I'm completely to blame. And I think there might have been something weird in the punch.
You've stated your case eloquently. No.
Why?
Miss Spellman, you explained how you got your quizmaster fired, but you never explained why you need him back.
Oh. Well, did I mention the punch?
The Quizmaster is then summoned by the judge, who's given a new assignment, talking about bad boys, a real bad boy named Ralph.
Meet Ralph.
Sir, it is an honor to meet you. I have been following your career for years, and it is a privilege to work with you.
But once Sabrina tries to apologize to him, he just notes that she wasn't learning with him, and it's probably best to just accept the change, and they'll both be better off without each other. They leave, as Sabrina says that she just gives the two of them a month. Sabrina is then seen in her kitchen, and pretty dramatically going through all the stages of grief as Salem annotates them.
I'm so at peace with what's happened between me and the Quizmaster. I believe everything happens for a reason.
And that's why we call this stage denial.
Hi, sweetheart. How you feeling today?
Can't believe the Quizmaster hasn't had the decency to call me after all the mean things he said.
Welcome, anger.
The toaster soon dings with a message, which Sabrina believes is going to be the Quizmaster groveling for her, but in reality is a note from the Witches' Council saying that they're temporarily out of Quizmasters and that she'll have to be homeschooled. An idea which Sabrina likes, as Zelda is an excellent teacher, despite teaching mortals. But with Zelda's temporary job at Westbridge, Sabrina will have to be homeschooled by the dunce of the family, Hilda.
I'm afraid I'm too busy substituting to do it. It's your Aunt Hilda.
You know what we haven't played in a long time? Goofy golf.
And let's give a big warm welcome to sadness.
Hilda's attempts to teach Sabrina how to turn herself into the remaining elements, that being fire and wind, don't go very well, as she has trouble remembering how to do either one, but she does give us a really great story about her boyfriend and trying to murder him on a beach.
I guess the last time was when I was on vacation in the Caribbean with my boyfriend Danny. We got into a fight and he stormed out to take a walk. Well, I didn't want him to enjoy his walk, so But in the end, the joke was on me. He fell in love with one of his rescue workers.
Her comments about feeling very windy at one point just leave the court open for Salem to come in and slam dunk a great joke. Here it is.
I think I'm turning into wind. I feel a little breeze.
That's just the life going out of us.
Anyway, we then go back to Westbridge, where Harvey, Sabrina, and the class are still struggling with a redox reaction, including Libby, who tells Zelda to just fail her. That is shut your fucking mouth.
Until.
Tongue gets in the way sometimes. That is until Zelda gives her an analogy with something that all girls can understand. Shopping.
I think it's more styling than shopping.
Sorry. Fashion.
There you go. With a U.
Perhaps an analogy will help you. Say you have a sweater and a skirt that you always wear together. And say one day you decide to wear the sweater with a new skirt. Therefore, the new skirt and the old skirt both change into something different. You see, the copper
gives an electron to the hydrogen in the nitric acid, causing the copper to become a solution.
That's it, Libby!
Once she gets the understanding of the redox reaction, Sabrina is just as jealous and pissed. We then get some more shots of Hilda trying to encourage Sabrina to turn into the elements after she remembers how to turn into fire herself. And I do like the fact that Hilda, in trying to convince or trying to teach Sabrina how to turn into fire, basically gives us the worst cheer ever made.
Ready? Okay. Be fire!
I thought it was the best thing she's done. It was
it is pretty funny.
Perfect.
It is pretty funny. Once this fails, she tries to give Sabrina a bit more of encouragement, but Sabrina is just distraught by Hilda's lessons and perceives that Hilda is insulting her by saying that she's not thinking. And then she goes upstairs in a huff. And I have to tell you, I had to edit my notes because I used in a huff so many times to describe what Sabrina was doing at one point that it would have become monotonous. All right, but anyway, let's talk about these scenes here. I do really want to talk about the scene of Salem and Zelda talking to each other and her working through the lesson plan, because I also really want a shot, I want to see that scene of Salem sticking that note to Zelda's back without her noticing. It's did you use a fucking slingshot? What happened?
It's not a note. That thing looks like a freaking campaign poster on her back.
It's pretty big and it's on there real good. And so was part of Zelda's lesson plan to lay on the floor face down for a second so he could just walk on her back? I do love how when the Other Realm judge calls in Quizmaster, I'm so accustomed to just people showing up out of a puff of smoke. Like Ralph shows up out of a puff of smoke, but like Quizmaster just like walks in from offset. He's like, Quizmaster 72469, and he just like strolls in and it's like, well, you're really breaking the fourth wall here, Quizmaster.
He was already there.
He was there and didn't say anything and wasn't in the shot.
Yeah.
Great.
It's like he was outside of the courtroom.
I mean, he literally meandered in. It wasn't even like he just like head down, like meandering in, like.
Before I do forget, however, the scene when they're at the gala and he's wearing the same outfit here, he is wearing the nicest thing Quizmaster has ever worn. It's like this beautiful like black jacket with like
the gold
like paisley on it. He looks fucking great. I love it.
Oh, dude, it looked like something out of like Michael Jackson's closet or Prince. It looked like he literally stole it from the Prince garage sale or something. It looked awful.
Compared to what he was wearing in the beginning with that big orange shirt.
Yeah,
with, like,
that was fucking awful.
The weird patchwork pants, which he's worn before.
I do like what he wears later on, though. The black and white.
Yeah, the black and white looks a lot
good.
better.
I mean, it looks like something a human being would have actually worn in 1998.
Yeah.
I still like that paisley deal.
One of my favorite things is whenever they show magical people from the other realm, like earlier when they were at the social, and now I love to see what they're wearing, because like their way of making people seem magical is to just put them in velvet and weird patterns and colors and put a big ass hat.
Odd hats. Oh yeah. Like, this is something
Boom,
they've done since
you're
since like episode 1 with like Debbie Harry, but it's like, oh my god, not everyone dresses like they're at a fucking joust.
It's just like I was trying to look at the people sitting at the table, and like
Multicultural
it's just, like,
though. There's an Asian woman, I believe.
Big ass ties with like big prints, and like everyone's in velvet. Like what says magical about velvet?
I feel like so often this show, in terms of the other realm, just leans on like, what is the opposite of what you would expect a normal thing to be? So like, we'll talk about it when we get to Quizmaster's apartment, as the cat just stomps around like she's a fucking horse.
Sorry, the cat.
Like, Quizmaster's apartment waiter is just like every like set dressing from like the weird kid's room in like Saved by the Bell.
It made me think of do you remember that scene where Sabrina has to like decorate that blank room and she just throws color everywhere? That's what it made me think of.
It kind of reminded me of the old like board game Mousetrap, ironically, with the mouse in it.
We'll get there, man.
You know how like Mousetrap had like all these different color things all over the place?
And just like arrows
and arrows. That's literally what it reminded me of.
There is some great pieces of like hideous furniture in Quizmaster's apartment. We'll talk to you.
His
We'll
pillows.
talk to the furniture in a little while. I'll Skype him in. Phil, what did you have in this chunk here?
So you know, I like to look at things like on, you know, try to look for like little clues or little things like that are like, you know, off to the side. So like when they're in the classroom and they're teaching her about the redux theory or reaction.
Yes.
The first thing that came to mind with me was Rednecks and the song Cotton Eye Joe. And then every time I saw it, I couldn't get that damn song out of my head.
Rednecks reaction.
Yeah, because of Rednecks. Yeah, because I you know, for some reason I look at Redux and like Redneck stuck in my head. And like all I was thinking was freaking Cotton Eye Joe as I'm watching this freaking episode. But then I'm sitting there. So then I'm like, then I had to like watch, when I watched it twice, I'm like, oh my god, it's not Rednecks, it's Redux.
Of course you were scheming with Schmidt.
Because I didn't do anything.
You think that Schmidt and Winston would be smart enough to duct tape the soundboard? That's brilliant. Plus, we both know that this is your CD. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe? Why did you need me for this? Yeah?
Winston must have taken that out of my car.
How gullible do you think I am? You're fist pumping right
No,
now.
I'm not fist pumping.
Yes, you are.
Ah! It's so friggin' catchy.
Very quickly, my favorite thing of that of the first scene of Zelda trying to teach the kids is the fact that like it's really well done in that she gets progressively less and less like it's like she's teaching a stupider and stupider person.
Yeah. She's like, you know, she starts very high level and then just starts like, okay, you put potion 1 and potion 2 together, this happens. Smoky smoke. And they're just like, The
fact that she uses the phrase, like, noxious gas honeymoon was one of my favorite things. Like, oh, I love it.
Then Mr. Copperman marries Mrs. Acid. And they go on their noxious gas honeymoon.
I also was thinking about the elements and how, like, Hilda couldn't remember how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me think that, like, elements must be one of those, like, magical lessons like calculus that you'll never fucking use again in your life.
Hilda does do it.
I feel like it would be useful. Like, actually, what if you just want to peace out and you're like, okay, bye, water.
Why water? Why not wind, Chris?
Because water. I don't know.
I'll just take the tunnels home.
What if you're standing on the street corner and there's a drain? Okay? Bye, water.
Or someone's like, oh, this bitch is fire. And then literally you could turn into fire.
Yeah.
Or you had too much Mexican food the night before. And you turned into fire to burn off all the smells.
Yeah, Salem.
Smart.
Real mislead there on my part. I do like the idea, though, like, of, Hilda used the elements to turn into wind to get back at her boyfriend or whatever if they had a fight. I like the idea of mortals using, like, calculus to get back at their boyfriends when they get mad at them.
She's going to solve a really hard problem.
I'll teach you. I'm going to write an insult, but you got to solve it. But it's bad. E = MC, go fuck yourself.
I know you kind of brought up, like, the Witches' Council scene, like... How about, like, how whiny she is, like, when they're, like, judging against her?
Oh, dude,
Sabrina, like, she gets, like, so whiny. It's like, look, like, just take your shit and go with it. Like, you got yourself into this shit.
She's about to go back to the to the Witches' Council a second time, but the most honest to life or honest to the character thing in this whole episode is when the judge is just like, you can't just barge in here like we're not doing anything. Like, this doesn't, like, imagine Sabrina in a fucking nutshell is just like, everyone stop what you're doing. I have a problem that I can easily solve through my magic, but I still want you to know about it.
But if I were to try, I would probably fuck it up.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty much useless.
I mean, the whole irony here is that she literally could solve this problem with magic. All she has to do is the 3 things of magic to solve this problem.
And not even that, she could solve this problem by just, like, being a better person. I'll say in this way, this is actually a better, like, lesson because it's not something that she can just resolve easily with magic. The issue isn't that she can't learn. The issue is that her reaction to not being able to learn, and that's really more like a lesson about, not getting hung up on things and, like, basically changing your outlook. But, like, that in a way is better than it just being like, oh, you can't always have everything you want. And it's like, no, you're a witch. You can literally have everything you want.
The lesson is that Sabrina is the problem.
That's the lesson.
She is her own biggest problem.
I mean, but we also see, like, more
solved.
Done.
But we also see more typical, like, Sabrina-ness. Like, so, like, when the head quiz master, comes and introduces herself, and she's like, she just tries to say that it's her evil twin. Mm-hmm. Like, it's more of her.
We haven't gotten to that.
That's right. That's next season.
Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, the
and
evil
she's
twin?
not a
That's
brunette.
right. Yeah, I'm sitting there like, really? Like, you obviously said this to this person. Like, just go ahead and go through it. Let's go through life. Like, oh, you just can't be blaming your problems on something else.
My evil twin who's wearing the same far too short dress that I am. It was a sale.
How ironic. Except she's a brunette.
We bought one regular length dress and cut it in half.
Half price.
I will say, in terms of fashion, as I just touched on it, Caroline Ray is wearing the quintessential Hilda look of bright colored cardigan with matching skirt and voluminous
velvet
feather.
There's
not scarf,
velvet patches
collar
on the arms, and then sheer panels. And then it's not just fuzzy; it's like feathery.
Feathers.
Like it's
like a boa.
high.
It's like they cut up a boa. It is like this. This is what
Zelda was wearing a fucking plain red T-shirt tucked into some jeans earlier.
Yep.
Why do they always play her like this?
The funny thing is, like, I'm so used to seeing Zelda dressed up, and when I saw her like that, I'm like,
I know, it was weird.
What is she doing? Painting a hutch?
And
what
her
is she
and Sabrina
doing?
were wearing very similar things, like just like T-shirt tucked into jeans.
Yep. Honestly, like, Zelda wearing a shirt tied at the waist is to Hilda wearing like a cardigan with like a big billowy collar like this. Like it is, if I'm drawing them, that is how I draw them. So Sabrina then goes to Quizmaster's apartment to say hi, but is greeted by a human in a rat suit. This is Quizmaster's roommate, who is just a hideous man in every way.
Hi, I'm looking for my quizmaster. Well, my ex-quizmaster. Who are you?
I'm his roommate, but from the way I clean up after him, you'd think I was his mother.
He invites her in after she says she's here to talk to her ex-quizmaster, and when Quizmaster greets Sabrina, he tells her that things are going great with Ralph. As he does, she tries to cover up by saying that, she's just here because she was updating her address book, only to have her eventually come out and apologize about how things went down.
Look, I'm really sorry about what happened the other day.
It was all my fault. I was mad, and I said some things. I was beginning to worry.
This apology, however, is short-lived, as Sabrina is horrified to discover that Ralph is there in the apartment as Quizmaster is tutoring him there, a place where he never brought her. She is even more shocked to find out that Quizmaster is named Albert, of all things. And,
shocker!
Not only did he never bring her there, he never brought her to the old beach house or whatever it was.
Lake Arrowhead.
Lake Arrowhead.
Hello, Sabrina.
What's he doing here?
Nothing. I'm just quizzing him.
At your apartment? You never quiz me at your apartment.
Really? What about his weekend place in Lake Arrowhead? Ralph, that's enough. How about we end our lesson for today?
She complains that he never told her his name, although, as he does point out, she really never bothered to ask. He tells her that she hasn't changed at all after she gets mad about all this, and she can never admit when she's wrong, including when she needs him. She can't admit that she needs him. She obviously doesn't admit this, and as Albert says that Ralph is the best student he ever had, she says that she's already passed her elements test, although when he just asks if that's true, she immediately gives up the goat, or the ghost, it's ghost.
She gives up the ghost.
Take my goat, I don't need it. So she gives up the
heard ghost. I mean, I thought you said goat, but isn't that what
it's ghost.
It's ghost?
It's ghost.
I thought it was goat.
No, it gives up the ghost.
Damn it.
Anyway, she gives her goat away, gets 2 chickens in exchange, and she just says no, and this is where I wrote leaves in a huff, but I changed it to angrily admits the truth.
I've learned all the elements and passed my midterm with flying colors.
Really?
No!
She then goes to the Witches' Council again with a new argument that she now realizes how important Quizmaster is to her, and that thinking back, they've had so many great times together, leading to maybe the most hilarious montage this series has ever done.
Because they're all wearing the same outfit that they're wearing right now.
I mean, that is also funny, yes. But this includes them in a hot air balloon together, just over the savannah for some reason.
The African savannah.
The 2 of them getting matching tattoos of each other's faces on their arms.
That are clearly hand-drawn.
They are.
With crayons. I really
like how poorly Sabrina's face looks on Quizmaster's arm.
Why would you draw her with her hair up? Of all the reference photos to use, that's still...
Just look at her. She's right there.
I mean...
Did you see what Sabrina's tattoo said?
No, I didn't.
Was it keep quizzling or keep...
It says keep on quizzing.
That's what it was.
With the Quizmaster's face on it. It was so great.
I've often told Chris, not often, but once in a while, I've mentioned it. If I was to ever get a tattoo, I'm such a sarcastic motherfucker, but I would get the classic mom tattoo with a heart.
But it would say wow.
It would say wow. It would be mom upside down.
You would just look like an idiot.
I mean, I would look like an idiot with a tattoo either way.
$300, please.
What a great joke. Everyone will love this joke tattoo.
Joke's on them.
It's literally just that episode of The Simpsons where Bart gets it and has to have it removed immediately.
Ay, caramba.
Now, whatever you do, boy, don't squirm. You don't want to get this sucker near your eye or your groin.
But yes, so we not only do they get tattoos, they're then seen going to give blood. That's a fond memory Sabrina has. Which we should all be giving blood if we can right now, because blood supplies are short. But it is really well done that Quizmaster then comes out of the blood van and just like walks for a second and then just like goes head first into the side of the van. Like,
that shit ain't no joke.
God bless Alamy Ballard for like committing to that. There's then maybe my favorite, because it's Sabrina getting her comeuppance. They're shown sparring like in Sabrina's room, just like boxing in the same. This might be right before or right after they get tattooed because they're wearing the same outfit, and he just fucking clocks her one real good. He does feel bad, but like she hits him a little one, and then he just like
he knocked her out.
He's like,
dude, he Mike Tysoned her.
Mama gonna knock you out. Just fucking
That's exactly what happened.
Drops her like a bad habit. And then lastly, but certainly not leastly, we see them having gone on a shopping excursion together.
Ugh.
Sabrina modeling like a very floral pink outfit. And then
I feel like that dress was used in another episode.
It's possible.
I feel like she wore it with Vesta.
Ooh, that I don't know. It doesn't feel like it feels like it's not one of the ones I would remember, but the gag here is then Quizmaster tries it on and does look very good. Like, the man is in shape, he's got good legs, and Sabrina accurately and correctly gives him like Nancy Pelosi claps. Like she does like the vertical clapping that's just like half sarcasm, half approving. But I think these are the good old days, so fond memories. Sabrina liked the dress on him. Anyway, despite all of these fond memories, Sabrina's request to have Quizmaster back because she now realizes that there's nothing more important than a friend is again denied by the Witches' Council, and she's told to fuck off once more.
So that's why I need my Quizmaster back with me. Because nothing makes a better teacher than a friend.
Wow. Nope.
Okay, so we covered the montage pretty well and in depth, but it is a wonderful bit of montaging. Like, sometimes some of these are just like so long and so meaningless, but like this one, every joke, it builds well. Everyone is better than the last, and they're all really funny ideas, I thought.
If you were to come up with new other things that could be included in the montage.
Sure. What would you have them do? I would say like batting practice.
What about you, Phil?
I'd have her clock her again because she probably deserves another one.
Greco-Roman wrestling and just drop her on her neck.
No, do like the American Gladiators, like Q-tips, and just whack her a good one around the head.
That sounds good.
That'd be good. I like to see them like maybe take a cooking class together.
Oh,
yeah. I was thinking like baking.
Yeah.
I would do one with washing his car.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be great. But then like,
and then like she like sprays him with the hose, and he's like, "Oh, stop it!"
It's like a convertible, and like then they start goofing around, and then Sabrina like doesn't notice that she's moving the hose, and it sprays inside the car. What a world! Let's talk more so about like their big argument here at Quizmaster's Pad, and I think we should start by talking about Quizmaster's Pad.
It's fucking weird.
It's weird in every regard.
I mean, I think it's just like really fucking creepy that they set up the scene to be like as if they were like actual exes,
like lovers,
and it's like it just feels really fucking weird. And then on top of that, like all of the Ralph bits, like it's so clearly set up to have that feel.
Like he's the new girlfriend, yeah.
But also, it seems a little inappropriate that Ralph is there, like at the Quizmaster's house. Like, I get if you think of it as like your tutor, then yeah, you might go to your tutor's house for tutoring, but it just feels really fucking weird.
I mean, how about a weekend at Lake Arrowhead?
Yeah, that one. Here's what I will say though. I fucking love sassy Ralph. Okay?
He's here to steal your fucking man. He's here to
pass your tests and steal your boy. Let me tell you,
he's that bitch stealing your fucking boyfriend away from you. You better watch out.
Like,
it's gonna snatch your fucking wig, steal your fucking man.
He's a wig snatching son of a bitch. That one.
He is not here to play. Like, just the joy he gets out of finding out that
he's here to turn into water and vamoose out that door.
And then he's turn into fire and burn your ass.
Speaking of fire, I love how the rat tells the Quizmaster not to forget the charcoal briquettes. have to put that on the list because they're out of it.
Let's talk about the
I
rat in a
didn't get
second.
that.
I just want to say this.
What was
The
I
fact-
missing? I didn't get it.
The fact that Ralph loves the fact that Sabrina is like butthurt about him having a better relationship with Quizmaster than she does. I don't know. There's just something about it that I love so much. It's just like, no, good for Ralph. All right, because Sabrina's an asshole, and he's got a healthy relationship with Quizmaster, and Sabrina is the one that's fucked up. I stan this legend, Ralph. Now,
He's a sassy ass bitch, is all I can
I
say.
love it. I want a Ralph shirt.
He's like,
who played Ralph? Let's find out.
Ralph for president.
Yes.
Ralph 2020.
Chris, speak very quickly about the decor.
very quickly.
Speed this fucking shit up. Touch on the decor of Quizmaster's abode.
it looks like color threw up.
Yes.
It looks like I guess like if someone were gonna think like, oh, we're gonna make like Andy Warhol's apartment,
yeah,
but like super cheap and tacky.
Yes. At the same
super cheap and tacky. Andy
at the
Warhol.
same time, I would describe it as like the Pleasure Dome, but take out all the pleasure.
And then we're gonna
The
make
dome.
it. We're gonna make it kind of young by like putting random like arrows and like graphic
Big
things
colors
everywhere,
and shapes all over the place.
Like,
there's a giant like sculpture of like a weird blue hand.
oh yeah, there's a lot of like weird little sculptures.
Yeah, like set dressing.
Yeah.
But
I think that goes in with like the kind of decor that they just think seems like magical or
Wacky.
other. Yeah, it's like bizarre fucking shit mixed together.
Nothing has a 90-degree angle on it. That's the other
If
realm.
it's tacky, it's magical.
Yep. Quizmaster, he has a desk, and the desk has a chair that is just like a very glossy black like body.
Oh, I saw
but,
that.
like,
Yeah.
kneeling or like doing a squat, so like you sit on the person's like lap. It's just like, what the fuck? How much money? Like, none of this stuff costs like less than $1,000.
Yeah, it's
like,
probably all really fucking expensive, honestly. But they had it in the prop house.
Oh,
it's
no, I
like,
know, but I mean, if
go
you're
shopping
the
at the prop house for
Quizmaster-
the ugliest, tackiest shit.
if you're the Quizmaster, like you've
He's
spent
magical.
all your money.
Just fucking zap it in. Off-brand Andy Warhol.
You try to do it, and like a thing comes out of your finger. It's like, won't make crap. Sorry.
I also found it really fucking creepy that the rat mouse. It's a rat, though, right? Did he
It's
have a long
definitely
tail?
a rat. He's a big fucking rat.
Okay. Yeah, that he kept saying that Sabrina wanted him.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're fucking gross. Stop being gross.
He's described as Mouse in IMDb, played by Brent Hinckley, who was in Silence of the Lambs. Big shock. Yes, it is disgusting that he's like, she's so into me or she wants me.
She's
It's
a
like,
fucking teenager.
she's 16 and you're old enough to be a big fat rat.
Inappropriate.
She so wanted me.
Honestly. And you're doing it in front of her. The second time he does it, it's like you're in a fucking
Multiple times.
balloon. So weird. But yes, I do
Quizmaster,
think,
you're not going to say shit?
I will
Like-
say this. No, he's not.
No.
He's one of
Why,
those.
he's getting his comeuppance with Ralph.
He's one of those gross. He's one of those roommates that's just like, I won't criticize, but I don't approve. You know, one of those guys.
Great, you're really helping.
Yeah, what a legend. I will say, however, I do think this is the best episode in terms of use of the Quizmaster, and it's not just that like he finally gets an episode that revolves around him in some way.
Yeah.
But, fuck, it took 22 episodes in a season.
I think because it really highlights Sabrina's flaws in the situation, and it's not just like Quizmaster's popping up at random times making her do shit that she's not prepared for. This is like, no, he's been trying to actually help her, and she like caused this situation, and then she realizes like she really actually likes having him around despite constantly bitching about the fact that he's around.
But like this is like the first time, and obviously it's because you flesh out like who he is as a person, but like he actually feels like a legitimate character and not just like someone who's just like pops in to advance a plot.
Yeah.
Like he feels like someone who's actually a part of this show, and it only took 22 episodes of the 26 episodes in the season he was in. Like, and he's only in like half of these, so like it's just insane.
Yeah, he's just a prop.
And that sucks because also, I mean, we don't really talk about it often, but like he's the only black character on the show at all. Like,
yeah. Until
there's that
Dreama
one
comes
cheerleader
along,
that's friends with
and
Libby.
they do the same thing with Dreama.
Yeah. And Dreama lasts like even less time than Quizmaster does. Sabrina is then shown in her science class as most of the other kids have already cracked Zelda's formula or reaction problem. And Libby is even going around helping the other students. Even Milos, the kid who, despite being an immigrant, is still better than that blonde girl, Sabrina, nails it.
That's so great.
I'm the only person in class who still hasn't figured it out.
I don't think our foreign exchange student has gotten it either.
Way to go, Lyosh.
Libby eventually comes over to help Sabrina at her aunt's request, and while they argue a bit, Sabrina eventually gets tired of this and just gets her to go away by zapping her tongue so that it won't go back in her mouth. This is some more of that stuff that Sabrina does to Libby, where it's just like, Libby is going to think she has like a health issue.
But, see, I didn't even think of it that way. I thought of it as like, Libby is going to realize that you somehow fucking did this to her because you literally pointed at her and made it happen.
Maybe, but it's just like, I think if I were Libby, I'd just be like, why is my tongue not moving back into my mouth anymore? I wouldn't, because you don't think people have magic powers.
I mean, after like 30 times of this shit happening, you might.
God, it's happening to me every day. There's got to be something up.
Every day I'm turning into a goat and a pineapple and, you know.
My tongue is getting stuck to my nose. And
like,
shit.
Oh man, that Libby puzzle should come in handy right about now, wouldn't it, Chris?
My Nana's getting taken away.
That's right. So she goes away, and Zelda comes over and tries to talk to Sabrina, but Sabrina's just furious.
Being a bitch. Oh, I'm sorry.
You know Libby, my mortal enemy, the albatross around my neck, that stinky-faced meanie?
Yes?
Well, that's the same Libby you've become friends with, and now you've asked her to be my tutor?
Honey, I simply...
Wanted to publicly humiliate me? I mean, I understand. Why not?
This leads to a I don't remember if it was before or it was after, but right around here is where we get what I thought was a very like David Lynch-esque scene of like it's like a dream sequence of Sabrina feeling like so inferior to everyone around her and just feeling like she's being like treated like a child.
Yeah.
So we get like her coming to class and everyone like going like, "Oh, did you wipe your ass before you came here? Oh, hope you're doing all right." And then
forks are hard.
Forks are hard. And how do we feed ourselves with a spoon?
Hi, Sabrina. Did you dress yourself today?
Yes, I dressed myself, and someday I hope to be able to feed myself.
That's right. And how do we feed ourselves? With a spoon.
Damn right, Harvey. And eventually she starts like clapping erasers because that's her special job that her aunt gives her. And then it's just like a horrifying nightmarescape of like her clapping erasers as we cut to like everyone laughing at her. And then she's just like violently clapping them and going, Sabrina likes to clap erasers. And it's just like, oh, fuck. I need an adult.
Oh, look, everyone. Look how well Sabrina claps the erasers.
Sabrina likes to clap erasers. Sabrina likes to clap erasers.
Anyway, after that, Zelda tries to talk to her after freezing the entire class. But Sabrina just keeps complaining about how she's feeling stupid and like she can't do anything, and she gets angrier and angrier about things, and eventually gets so angry that she blows herself away. She turns into a big tornado, blows herself out of Westbridge, ditching
high school.
Bad boy. Regular owl, as Sabrina is. Flies all the way home and appears in front of Hilda, confirming that she can now turn into wind. She then says she's got one more for Hilda, and bursts herself into a big pile of fire. Big pile. You know how you describe fire as piles.
Yeah.
Big pile of fire. And she soon gets a notification that she's passed her elements test.
Yeah, we don't actually make you sit for it. You just like have to, burst into
just by
flames.
a certain time, you have to have turned into these three things.
Just fucking burst into flames and you're fine. Are her classmates not like, what the fuck just happened?
Zelda froze them all.
No, Zelda froze them.
Oh, that's true. I remember now.
Yeah. Someone didn't do her 4 pages of notes.
No, I didn't.
Sabrina says she can't remember when she felt so good before remembering that it was when she was with Quizmaster the last time. And at Lake Arrowhead. She's then seen trying to convince the Witches' Council again with the argument that the Quizmaster is who taught her the joy of learning, and this eventually convinces them to give her Quizmaster back, although they're all kind of shocked that it took her so long to figure out why.
She's really self-centered, guys.
Bet you're pretty impressed I figured it out, huh?
No, most witches get it right away. You took so long, we actually started an office pool. Who had Sabrina Wednesday at 3? Everybody pay the man.
Quizmaster gets reassigned back to Sabrina, and then she goes to visit him at his apartment again. As she tells him the good news about her elements test, she hears Quizmaster tell Ralph to hold on a minute, eventually deciding that she wants to apologize for how she's been to Ralph, only to have Quizmaster admit that Ralph isn't there, as he broke it off with him because Ralph was too perfect. He then goes on to note that he guesses he misses being hated, or he missed being hated, and notes it's likely due to a self-esteem issue, which Sabrina just celebrates. Like, she might as well be doing like the Tiger Woods, like, yes!
I think maybe I got self-esteem issues.
This is great!
They decide to be Quizmaster and pupil once more, and during the credits, they spend a bit more quality time together, back up on the old hot air balloon. This time, however, they decide to bring Quizmaster's rapey roommate, who thanks whoever brought the brie, and then does a bit more pedo work on Sabrina as the episode closes.
Whoever brought the brie, thank you.
Let's get out of here. I've had my fill of talking vermin.
She so wants me.
All right, so I guess the lesson here is somewhat vague, but I still do like it that it's like, the important thing is not to focus on the trouble you're having with an issue, but it's to like refocus on solving the problem. Like, I think what's actually a healthy like lesson to teach like preteens is like, don't get so in your head about an issue you're having. Think it out and you'll figure it out. Like, I think that's a solid story, but like that lesson is not the reason that she needs Quizmaster back, you know? It doesn't really connect to why she ends up getting Quizmaster back as her Quizmaster. The story is just like, oh, he taught me the joy of learning or whatever. And it's like, what does that even mean? I guess you were happy once you had passed your test, but like, that doesn't really track so much for me. Am I wrong, Chris?
It's weird because Sabrina's always been really smart and studious.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
this is the episode where she has trouble studying.
Right. Did he really teach you the joy of learning? You already have had that before.
It was in you all along. The real joy of learning was the friends we made along the way.
No. Ralph is the joy of learning.
Ralph was my true joy. I'm going to get a Ralph tattoo. It'll just say Ralph.
Just like Ralph at Lake Arrowhead. In a hammock. With a martini.
That's right.
That's faintly pink.
He got that in the breakup.
He got Lake Arrowhead.
The weekend cabin.
Yep.
He made out.
The weirdest thing, like, I don't know if you noticed this, but like, I was looking back at the furniture in Quizmaster's apartment. Like, one of the beds, someone's bed is like in the living room.
It's very like that time TV where it was like everyone lived in a studio.
Oh yeah, it's very like Friends-ish.
Yes, except there are
Caroline
no friends
in the City
on this show.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the episode. Unless you guys have anything else to add, Chris, any last minute notes on the resolution of this episode?
I think I didn't hate this episode as much as I remembered / thought I would hate it, because it just fully accepts and embraces the fact that
now who's the owl?
I know, but I acknowledge that. Embraces the fact that Sabrina is her own worst enemy and is just like really self-centered, and she's the problem. I love that they made that They just put it front and
This
center.
is the story of the episode.
Yeah.
With Sabrina being a bad
and
person.
everyone acknowledges it's Sabrina's the problem.
I didn't say this when the storyline first popped up, but like I really loved having Zelda at the high school.
Mhm.
And like eventually they do this in the college years where she's like a professor at Sabrina's college.
Not the same.
I would have loved it if they like had her take over the Mr. Poole job, just because like I feel like it gets the aunts more into the school, and it gives them more of a reason to be together, lets the marriage storylines together.
I feel like it's hard though because then A and B stories will always be so intertwined, as opposed to like giving the aunties their own separate
honestly,
identity.
The auntie stories so often feel like an also ran story anyway. It feels like they put like next to no thought into it.
Well, they're always secondary. Sabrina is always front and center.
That makes sense, but like I feel like especially Zelda, but like even Hilda and Zelda, like at the school, like it also feels like not so much has happened in the school in season 2. Like some stuff definitely happens, but like it doesn't. Like season 1, everything is at the school.
You're doing more magical things.
Yeah.
So you're inherently taken out of her normal, mortal, everyday life scenarios. You have less happening at the school with her friends because you have so much more happening in terms of her magical development.
Phil, any last words on this episode before we go to the ending ceremonies here on the Witch Trials?
I think you guys have said it all. I mean, I think Sabrina sees a little bit, she gets the proverbial, gets her own medicine, a little dose of her own medicine in this episode. So, that's really all I had.
Fair enough. Now, of course, let's go to those closing ceremonies here on the Witch Trials. A ceremony or a segment I've added recently, but I think is a great one, is Salem Says, where we get to highlight our favorite line from that feisty feline. Phil, would you like to go first here on Salem Says?
Wow.
Was it cabbage?
I mean, you're so prepared.
I am prepared. It was just, I wrote in so many lines down. I'm trying to figure out which one would work, Chris.
Well, I don't have one, so.
So let's let Chris go first.
No, this is why we're letting you go first.
I pick whatever Phil picks. Good job, Chris.
Probably the best part, I think, with Salem, what Salem does the whole time, I would have to go with the punch me sign.
Yes.
A little visual humor for me. I think I enjoyed that. Nothing really that he said to me stuck out, but I think that was probably the one for me.
They didn't have the same zing as they normally do.
I'll give you mine and let's see if this sparks some joy.
Okay.
So when Sabrina returns from the gala, and Zelda asks how it went, she says, I believe I have the line here.
Hi, honey. How was your tea?
Oh, pretty average, There was music, little sandwiches, tea, of course. Oh, and I got my quizmaster fired.
And Salem, without like blinking an eye, just goes, "What kind of sandwiches?"
What kind of sandwiches?
That is good. I feel like he said something cute when he was like flipping pages of a book.
He's reading an Archie comic in the newspaper when he does like the stages of grief.
No.
Yes.
It was later, so they were in the living room.
He was in the living room when Hilda is helping Sabrina.
Yeah, he's like flipping book pages, and I was like, he says something, and then he like flipped the page, and I was like, that was so cute.
I can't believe I finally figured out how to do it, and I can't explain it.
Might I suggest the fine art of shadow puppets?
That is where he says another line that I really liked, which was Hilda remembers how to make herself into fire, and he says something along the lines of,
if it involves dry branches and kerosene, it's not really magic.
That one's good too. A lot of good Salem lines I thought in this episode. Very very Rodney Dangerfield-esque, and just like that, hey, fuck off. Classic Salem. We now go to the TGIF scale, where we, of course, rate every episode of The Witch Trials on a 1 to 5 scale, the This Good I Feel scale, TGIF. 1 to 5 scale corresponding TGIF show for each number. And Chris, you can kick us off here on a TGIF scale for episode 46, Quiz Show.
It's a 3.
It's a 3.
Yeah. It's a 3, and that's good. I feel like lately they haven't been as good. Like, I pretty much enjoyed it.
This is better than the Steve Allen one, was it?
Oh, much better. But I think so I'll say 3.5, which feels very generous to me. Like, that feels like a high score, because I feel like I haven't given high scores in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, it's been very, like, middle of the road.
I will tell you, Chris, the next episode, they go to Disney World.
That's a fucking train wreck of an episode.
Four.
Kind of is. Phil, are you actually giving this a 4?
No,
Harvey's just on like that train ride.
No, Disney
thing.
won't be a 4.
We'll find out next time.
I agreed with Chris. I gave it like a 3.25.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a 3, not a 3.5, but right in the middle of 3.25. So
I had it about the same place as a 3.5. Just a good one. A bit of a surprise because, like you said, I also didn't have fond memories of this.
Yeah.
But definitely
I just
a lot
don't
more.
think I liked Quizmaster that much growing up, because he was just always popping up and being a menace and like, oh, I need to go take a damn test now.
And this too is like so far towards the end of the Quizmaster character. That's just like, what do I really care? I mean, this is a good episode because I can appreciate it as an adult. But like, if I'm a kid, I'm like, because he hasn't really done anything this whole time. But yes, 3.5. And now the main event of the episode, of course, the Back of the Linen Closet Award, our episodic award for each installment's biggest fashion flop. Chris, a couple of things to choose from. Some we didn't touch on. I will also highlight that throughout this episode, Sabrina is wearing like a rusty kind of red sheer top.
Yeah.
That otherwise
with,
would have
like,
been fine, except for the big
design.
like tattoo
Flame
prints
thing
on the arm that are hideous.
She wore that like the whole episode.
But a lot of options to choose from.
It's definitely Hilda's purple people eater top ensemble.
It's not a good one. Like, it looks like something an eccentric old woman would have worn in the 40s.
It looks like other things that she's worn, but it looks like it was cobbled together with all of the elements that have ever been in her outfits. Yeah. Like, there's velvet. There's like the boa. There's sheer panels. There's a matching skirt. Like,
also, I will say the collar like looks like it was poorly added on.
Yeah,
like, it
but
doesn't.
Like, the patches, the velvet patches too, look like they were just like sewn on, like like added.
Phil,
how can we Hildify this normal
how can
cardigan?
We ruin a perfectly good cardigan. Phil, your selection for the Back of the Linen Closet Award this episode.
Well, my selection is probably one that you're not going to agree with, but for me,
oh no, it's Quizmaster's great outfit.
It was Quizmaster's Prince / Michael Jackson,
Prince Ali.
Prince Ali.
It's definitely Prince Ali.
Like looking thing. I'm like, what the heck is this thing?
I love that thing.
It's not from the time period. It looks hideous. I mean, he literally looks like a Nigerian prince.
Yeah,
with this freaking thing on, and I'm
he
like,
looks regal.
No,
that's his party look. His party LEWK.
And I will agree with Chris's selection of Hilda's hideous sweater.
I mean, Quizmaster's orange shirt was pretty bad.
It is. Yeah, I think that was in a previous episode. I think it might have won.
But the black and white looked good on him. It was very 90s hip hop.
It was good. It like when you see him in that outfit, like when he comes out, it seems like he's in his element. Like that seems like the kind of clothes he likes to wear.
He probably would have worn then. Yeah, exactly.
Like it doesn't seem,
of course,
over the top in the same way that his outfits always seem over the top.
Of course, the greatest outfit he wears is that like purple A-line shirt when he punches Sabrina right in her fucking face.
Oh, dude, those were some titties. Like, it was so tight on his chest.
He clearly works out, man. Did you see him in that dress?
Damn titties.
He was also wearing heels. Like, good on him. Like, those were not, like, baby heels
either.
He
earned those Nancy Pelosi claps. Anyway. That is the episode by and large, but I do want to remind you that you can always check out what Chris is up to over at chrisconkers.com and Chris Conkers on Twitter and Instagram. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Thank you for leading in. as a woman. Thank you for leaning into business. Yes. And you can check out what Phil is up to by listening to more episodes of Sabrina's Witch Trials.
That is correct.
And of course, you can listen to Sabrina's Witch Trials everywhere you get your podcast. TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play podcast section. Find us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All that stuff, links to all that stuff should be...
LinkedIn.
Huh?
LinkedIn.
Link below.
No, you've...
Oh, yeah, follow us on LinkedIn. No, good point, Chris. Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah. Oh, TikTok, yeah.
Snapchat.
Yeah. Follow us on TikTok so you can see me doing that dance, that fucking song Savage by fucking...
There you go.
I'm so sick of that song.
We're going to have Al start doing TikToks where he dances to all the things, all the different TikTok challenges that Bachelorette contestants do.
Yeah, if you retweet this post, we'll absolutely have Al do it.
I'll tell you what, we get 20 reviews on iTunes, and I'll do it.
Come on, guys, we can make it happen. I just want to see Al dance.
We all want to see Al dance.
I want to see Al trying to lift up his knee and make a stank face when he and smiling
stick that ass out.
I'm just thinking of all the bachelorettes or bachelor contestant girls who have been making TikToks and the faces they make while they do TikToks, and just Al smiling while he dances sassily.
I like how you think Al will be smiling.
No, but that's how they do it. So I imagine you doing it exactly the way that they do it.
Yeah, you're gonna do a parody of it, Al.
We need to get him a tie-dye sweatsuit.
Done.
I'm ordering it right now.
Luckily, I already ordered one from Fashion Nova.
Oh, I was going to say Target because I know they have them, but...
Do they really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
for women.
You can guess where I'm...
Wild Fable.
Perfect.
Finally, something that'll fit my thick hips.
You can do a Quizmaster, Al.
It's $12.
I can be the Quizmaster.
Or we can make you one. We get you one of your favorite Hanes sweatshirts, and we can make a TikTok of you making a tie-dye.
I can't...
And then of you dancing in the tie-dye.
All this TikTok obsession,
I also
Chris?
don't have TikTok, so...
Lots of TikToking going on.
It's what is happening in this quarantine world of ours. Everyone's
Thanks,
TikToking.
Coronavirus.
Yeah, thanks. You really ruined my life by making me TikTok.
Or as Al likes to call it, my Sharonavirus.
That's right. Because Chris has it. Yuck.
Because it's got him dancing.
That's right. To escape people through dance. Anyway, follow us in all those places, review us in all those places, reach out in all those places, share this podcast, follow this space, all the comment, and subscribe, all the things you're supposed to say at the end of something.
Smash the like button.
Did you say we're on MySpace? Because that would have been great.
Subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Add me to your friend wall.
Yep.
I want to be your top 8 on MySpace.
Yeah, Friendster. Find me on that weird Google. What was it? The fucking Google one called?
I don't know.
Who fucking knows? Google.
I know there was
Google.
a European one called High Five that everyone knows.
High Five.
I used to have a High Five.
I used to get a high five, but then I lost my friends. Anyway, cut that out.
And then we had to stay 6 feet apart from each other, so no more high fives.
I used to get a high five, but then I could only high five people through a glass window.
Everybody put gloves on. We need a high five.
And I'm going to send you a virtual high five.
Thank you.
Aw.
And then, most importantly, just stay safe, guys, and keep yourselves healthy. And
yes. And thank you to everyone who is an essential worker that has to go out and.
Oh, I honestly, I can't fucking imagine it. Just having to go, even if you're not a nurse or a doctor or something, but even if you're just working at a fast food place and you have to be there because your job says you're an essential worker.
Yep.
And you're literally exposed to people all day. God bless and stay safe. And with that, I will tell you that I really do appreciate you listening, and I hope you have a great rest of 2020. I almost said 20.
Wow, are you not recording ever again?
You know what's amazing? If you listen back to that clip,
now.
I'm about to say 2018, and I'm like, no, it's the next year. I always say 2019. Fuck.
Also, but that's fucking weird. You're acting as if you're recording this in December.
Yeah. Ho ho ho. Yes, acting.
Oh my god, we knew about coronavirus back then.
That's right. We did. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a great rest of the year, as the year right now is not so great. But thank you for listening, and we will see you in the other realm.
I've got it! I know I need my Quizmaster back now.
You know, you can't just barge in here assuming we have nothing to do. Proceed.